This is the most interesting podcast ever.
I'm still waiting to see how this door-to-door salesman's going to sell me on Thanos, our Lord and Savior.
You post your failures on the internet?
No, God, no. And if you do it right, you like open a portal to another dimension.
And it could be even like a hypercube-esque fourth dimensional being that can kind of hop in and out of time.
True AI wouldn't let us know that it deviated.
We became friends in a parking lot.
Hence the name Long Shot Parking Lot.
Drew has informed me that this story is not very fun.
That is not true. Welcome to the Long Shot Parking Lot podcast. I'm Drew.
And I'm Katie.
And this is the intro. And now we're cutting to the parts where we talk about things.
All right, awesome.
This is why I don't do the intros.
So, we're going to talk about fundamentalism today, which is kind of my baby. As far as when I've been thinking about doing a podcast, I've been thinking about this topic a lot. Most of the conversation I have, elsewhere on the internet on my own time, not that this isn't my own time, is kind of about this. I'm very passionate about it. I have a cold, so we'll see how this goes tonight. So fundamentalism, according to Merriam-Webster, is a movement or attitude stressing strict and literal adherence to a set of basic principles. So as it comes to Christian fundamentalism, most of us have seen just the very extreme evangelicals who are like, this is God's word and this is what he says and that's just how it is and that's our authority and standard for all life. So I came from that background. You came from maybe not quite. I guess I don't know. I mean, do you want to tell me?
My church growing up was the Church of the Crucifixion.
Okay.
Which is a little intense.
That is intense.
As an adult thinking
Were you,
about
what denomination?
I could not tell you the difference. Catholic?
Catholic, okay.
Christian?
Yeah.
Are they the same thing?
Catholic is denomination within Christianity.
Then yes, that one.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a Lutheran. I know that. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not Christian either anymore. But
yeah. Growing up, I definitely didn't think Catholics were Christians because I thought we were better than them or that we had the correct, this is the literal adherence. Like we had the correct way of doing things where Catholics did not. And I felt very open and progressive when I finally realized I think Catholics can be Christians too.
Yeah. And there's actually a lot of churches now that I think about it in my small town. But everybody I knew was Christian, so it was just like whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It was just because it was the default of who I went to a Christian school, like elementary school.
Yeah.
Everybody I knew was Christian, so we never talked about it. Mm-hmm. So it was never us versus them. It was just like, oh, we go to this church, mm-hmm. you go to that church.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'm now, is it 4, 5? I think there's 5 churches in La Crescent.
Yeah. I could not tell you how many churches there are in Buffalo.
How big is Buffalo?
Like 15,000, 20,000.
Okay.
There were like a handful of big ones, the Lutherans, the Covenant Church, the Evangelical Church, the Presbyterians, the Catholics. So it was quite, and then lots of little other ones scattered throughout. But yeah, so I grew up quite evangelical and that's very much the people who come off the most like, we want to share the gospel with you and save your soul, and we think you're going to hell if you don't confess Jesus Christ as your savior, and so we're gonna go out and try to win people to the faith. Mm-hmm. So typically other veins within Christianity tend to be a lot more helpful where evangelicals tend to be very condescending and talky, but it's kind of only condescending in the sense that it depends on, some people are very genuine, and like Penn and Teller, I think it was Penn. Which one's the big one? Penn. It has a video out there somewhere where he's basically saying, well, if someone thinks I'm going to hell, yeah, they should tell me about it. That's a good thing on their part. If they thought I was going to hell and didn't tell me, that would be quite cruel.
They're trying to save me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And
he's an atheist. He has no interest, but
he's an interesting guy in the terms of like, he's an asshole kind of.
Yeah.
He's an asshole kind of interesting guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily want to be his friend, but I think he's good at what he does. Mm-hmm. That's how I mean he's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think that, and by the way, that video of him out there on the internet somewhere, they would show at conferences at the church I used to go to, in order to tell people
it's okay to tell people you're fucked.
Yeah, see, even the atheists think that this is a good thing.
Yikes.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go through my whole story.
That's another episode.
Yeah, that's another thing. But basically, I ended up in a community that was really intense. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I still have respect for them because they have a consistent worldview. And so it's like they believe the Bible's true and literal, and then they just go with that, you know. And so if you really think, again, that people are going to hell, yeah, do what you can to save them. And so I kind of respect that. Do you have any thoughts so far? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No,
Sorry.
You're fine. You've got all these notes about how Infinity War is about fundamentalism.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here ready to be like, I fucking hate Infinity War. Let me rip it to shreds. So it's like, you're going to be super like deep and philosophical, and I'm just going to be like, it was a shitty movie.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so have you ever had like Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door? Have
Yeah.
you ever talked to them before?
Yeah, I'm way too nice to them.
Yeah. I love being evangelized too. It's my favorite thing because most of them don't realize that I've already thought through all of their arguments. Mm-hmm. But also that like I understand how terrifying it is to evangelize people, so I'm really nice to them. So I'll like take all their stuff because I think I should, and also it's kind of funny because then they have to go get more. And I'll like talk to them for like 20 minutes in like 10-degree weather just because I think it's funny to make them do that. I'm like, you came to me. I mean, sure, I'll talk to you. Let's walk and talk, you know? But anyway, so we used to have these training videos called Way of the Master.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme.
I mean, yeah. Yep. And they were hosted by this Australian dude, maybe Australian, Ray Comfort, and Kirk Cameron.
Like the Kirk Cameron?
The Kirk Cameron.
Sorry, I'm stuck on Ray of Comfort, actually.
I know. He has this very caterpillar mustache.
Nice.
That's kind of adorable. And he's very sweet, you know. So I'm going to try the Way of the Master method on you, okay?
You Jedi mind tricks won't work on me.
Yeah. So, if you were to die tonight...
Mm-hmm, dope. Where do I sign up?
If you were to die...
Sorry.
Right? I mean, this is like our thesis statement for the whole thing. If you die tonight...
Neat.
Because none of it works if you're not dying. Like, if you stay alive, then there's no point to any of it.
Okay.
So if you were to die tonight, and it turns out all your reincarnation stuff was wrong, and you're standing before God, and he says, why should I let you into my heaven? What would you say? I used to go up to people like by the lake and start talking to them and asking them these questions.
So, my immediate response, I hate this. My immediate response.
Don't I sound like someone you really want to hang out with and be friends
That's not what I'm laughing at. I'm laughing at my immediate response to what I would do if I saw God tonight.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh shit, you are real. I'd start dancing. But like...
But if he was like, look, the choices are like heaven or hell. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to go to hell. You want to be in heaven. Oh. I could go into what they believe hell is, but hell too. I won't get into it. But it's like, it's not somewhere you want to be. And God says, why should I let you into heaven? What do you say to him? Like, seriously. I know it's hard to be serious.
It was like, I hate it so
I never had this reaction when I was evangelizing.
So I'm picturing this white room and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, fair.
And he's like, yo, I'm God. I'd be like, dope, dab. I would ironically dab because I'd be uncomfortable with like how wrong I am.
Yeah.
Or like, I was like, oh shit, they were right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Like dab.
Yeah, because you do things like that when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then I immediately thought of the Bitmoji where it's the dab, like you can make your Bitmoji dab, but then there's fire around it. Because I feel like as soon as I would do that, God would be like, yep, nope, down. That's why I got distracted.
I gotcha.
Anyway,
I gotcha.
Why would I? Because I'm a good person.
Okay.
Just because I don't identify under your needs, I still...
So the because I'm a good person response is what they want you to say. Because
I fell for it.
you fell for it. So then I will say, do you know any of the 10 Commandments?
Yeah.
Tell me a 10 commandment.
Oh, so it started, there was 15. I saw this in a movie once. There were 15, and then Moses dropped one of the tablets.
Fair enough,
Don't kill people.
Okay,
Don't kill your neighbor.
So, did you know that in the Gospels, Jesus actually says that if you look at your brother in anger, or if you call someone a fool or foolish, that's like committing murder in your heart
Yeah.
against that person.
Okay.
Any other 10 Commandments you know?
Yeah, the one where Jesus forgave me in my heart, so it's okay that I was mad at you. The don't steal from your neighbor.
Okay, so have you ever stolen anything?
Yeah, all the time.
Any other commandments?
Isn't there? Okay, is it 3? Isn't there like the 3 main ones and then the 7 other ones?
I mean,
I know it's the 10 commandments, but there's like the 3 big ones. Something about keeping the holy day, Sabbath.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you work on Sundays or ever, or turn on a light switch?
I solely masturbate on Sundays.
How about there's...
Now I'm like, okay, so I know that I don't care about these commandments anymore, but I'm like trying to remember them all.
Yeah. So there's one about don't commit adultery.
Yep, and that was, the next one.
So Jesus would has said in the New Testament that if you lust after someone, that you've committed adultery in your heart.
Hi, I'm an Aries. Next.
Yeah. So, and then there's don't commit false witness, which is lying. So have you ever told a lie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by your own admission, this is the punchline.
Oh.
By your own admission.
This is the joke? Okay, I'm ready.
You're a lying, thieving, adulterous murderer at heart. And so by God's standard, do you think that you are a good person by God's standard?
So why is God giving me the time of day if he knows in my heart that I am a piece of shit? Mm-hmm. His words, not mine.
Yep.
Why is he even asking me? Why is he torturing me before I go to hell?
I think he wants to know what you have to say. I don't know.
Why? He's all knowing. He should already know.
I'm with you.
Are you? Is that what Ray of Sunshine told you? Ray of comfort? Sorry.
Ray of sunshine, comfort. Ray comforting sunshine. Yeah, I mean, he would just say it's just this is the scenario that the Bible lays out, that you die and you go to heaven and God,
is it God or is it St. Peter?
That's not in the Bible, the St. Peter thing.
Oh, right, because hell's in the Bible. I forget. Sorry.
No,
continue.
It's all good. So, by God's standard, do you think that he would say you're a good person then?
I want to know what the other 5 commandments were that were dropped.
Yeah, I don't know them all either. I don't know that Ray does either. I mean, I do know them if I think about it, but there's like, don't covet your neighbor's wife, But the first ones are Is that a commandment? Oh my gosh, I've been out of this for a while. Okay.
So
it's keep the Sabbath. It's love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul.
Oh yeah, you can only have one God.
Yeah, have no other gods before me. Don't create a false image.
Mm-hmm. Don't jaywalk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if you're coming at me, saying I'm a sinner and all this stuff.
Oh, but Ray would say, no, it's not me. It's the 10 Commandments.
Okay, so were the 10 Commandments written on stone?
Yes.
Okay. and you're metaphorically here, figuratively throwing these commandments at me, Ray. Didn't God say something about he who has never sinned should cast the first stone?
Yeah, Jesus did, yeah. But so then the answer to that is, well, God has never sinned.
Right.
And so he's alone can judge you. And he is judging you.
Oh, he didn't create people. He didn't create original sin.
Yeah, that's a that's a whole other topic.
Oh.
I mean, again, I've been out of this for a while, guys. But they would say that God created, choice. And so in order to have choice, there has to be the possibility for evil, which I don't know that I buy.
Yeah, no, sounds fake, but
Yeah.
go on.
So if your reasoning for being let into heaven by God's standard is, that you're a good person, but by his standard, you're not a good person.
Right. Then I don't want to be in heaven with him.
Yeah. So this would go door to door. And
Johnny Knocker.
And doesn't this just really doesn't this really sound like a group of people that you want to hang out with and be friends with? And it just is absurd, right? It's so ridiculous. And the analogy is, if you're falling out of an airplane and you have a parachute, you need to know that you're falling out of the airplane in order to use the parachute. So you have to convince people they're bad so that you can save them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So usually I think because I tried to get out of this as often as I possibly could because I was really uncomfortable and I didn't feel right about it.
Yeah.
But you can't really always get out of it if you want to be of any sort of stature within the community. But usually if I ran into someone as argumentative as you, I would just let them go and be like, no, you're not ready to hear this. Your heart isn't soft to the gospel.
Shoot.
Yeah.
I'm not ripe yet.
You're not ripe.
No.
But then we'd be like, well, we're planting seeds, so we'll go harvest later. And you'll go home and think about it, and you'll feel like, oh, maybe I do need to accept Jesus into my heart.
I think I can accept white Jesus into my heart.
Yeah.
I just want to backtrack 1 second. I made a Vine reference, and we just skipped over it.
I don't know what you're making them.
I know, but that's fine, because this is a very obscure, yeah, right?
Vine reference.
It was you're like, we used to go door to door, and I immediately thought of, hi, I'm Johnny Knocker, the door-to-door salesman. This door-to-door salesman could be yours today. It's a funny Vine.
Yeah. You'll have to show it to me sometime.
I'm still waiting to see how this door-to-door salesman's going to sell me on Thanos, our Lord and Savior.
Okay. So, I watched Infinity War when it first came out.
I watched it 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, because I
4
gave
weeks
you my
ago?
Movies Anywhere password. And you did not enjoy the movie.
No, I sure didn't.
And because what? Because it was just like any other Marvel movie?
It was just like any other Marvel movie, and there was no... It was too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you.
It was like any other Marvel movie. It was predictable, and there's no actual suspense. I didn't care about a single character. The only character I enjoyed is Rocket, I think.
Do you think if you had watched the other movies that you would care about the character?
I've seen most of the movies.
Okay.
I think I haven't seen Spider-Man. That's it.
Okay.
I've seen all the other movies.
That's a lot of movie time for someone who doesn't like them.
Yeah, it's like the Parks and Rec episode where Anne tells... She's
but
like,
you've seen all 8 movies.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about Harry Potter and Marvel.
Yeah. So sad. So I think we talked about this before, but I do enjoy Marvel. I think a lot of it is that I like the whole movie making process. So I know that the minute Captain Marvel's pager fell down at the end credit scene, I was like, oh, it's Captain Marvel. She's coming. And then it was Brie Larson's cast. And here are the first images. And I like that whole ride. And then, so when it finally gets to the movie, I've been building up to it for a year and a half. So I'm always like, here it is,
Here it is. So my side of that is, it drops and I'm like, yeah, okay, it's Captain Marvel. That's neat. but they've done it every single movie now. I'm like, that's neat.
Yep.
Here's the next one. Like,
Yep.
these Easter eggs aren't Easter eggs anymore. You know? Whereas, like, when Iron Man started, I was like, that's Captain America's shield. Holy shit. Holy shit. And, like, you know, little stuff like that. And then, you know, they talked about who these people are. And I'm like, I know that name. Like, those Easter eggs in the beginning, like, this is fun and exciting. Now it's like, well, I found all the Easter eggs. And
Yeah.
that was very stereotypical, not how anybody sounds now, because it's pop culture now. It's not nerdy culture anymore. So that's one of the things where I was like, okay, cool, Captain Marvel's in it now. Like, she's going to save the day. But I don't care.
Yeah.
And
I totally see your side. I just happen to not feel the same way.
Right.
Like, I don't know why I feel differently. It's like how I like pickled herring. I don't know why I like pickled herring. Everything about it seems like it should be gross. But I just could eat a whole thing of it right here and love it. I don't know why.
so my mom says I have to go home now.
Why?
Because you like pickled herring.
Oh, gosh. I was well, I knew she was texting you.
I know.
And I was like, what's going on? I got really concerned there for a minute.
Just a thought. You need to leave.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I think that, first of all,
Damn it. Your evangelical thing worked now. Because I'm thinking, like, what if I did die from, like, a high cholesterol thing as soon as I left? Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm already predisposed to enjoy myself in this movie, right? But as I was watching Thanos, and then by the way, this is like super spoilery, but I hope anyone who's listening
Spoiler alert.
to this. So
Spoiler
anyway,
alert. Marley dies in the end.
yeah,
Skeleton Twins reference.
right, yeah. Also, I just watched.
We'll get to there.
Well, right, I watched.
We're talking spoilers. What about Thanos? Here we go.
I know.
I'm keeping us on track.
Saying,
Our last
I watched the
episode was
movie
2
Wonder,
hours.
and a dog dies in that movie too. And someone was like, if you watch anything with Owen Wilson in it, just know that the dog's gonna die.
Oh, the best website ever, if you're ever worried about that, is doesthedogdie.com.
Oh, nice. I have not heard of that, but that's amazing.
I was talking to one of my coworkers about it yesterday. Yeah, doesthedogdie.com. It'll tell you if the dog dies or not. So if, like, you are actually that concerned about it, there you go.
There we go. But I think by the time we got to the point where Thanos sacrifices Gamora,
Oh my god, that was such bullshit.
I was like, oh, this is a God Jesus scenario, you know? And Thanos is going through the universe being like, well, I guess this is what I have to do. And he has that tear, you know, and everything in like Christian lore is like God was so heartbroken that he just had to kill Jesus, and he was so sad about it. But he did it anyway for our sakes. And
Because there's
you
no
grateful?
life after death.
Yeah, I mean, but I was like, this is, and it's messed up. I'm not saying it was but I was like, oh, this is this like kind of sociopathic like behavior or psychopathic behavior where this person like thinks this is necessary, even though he like quote loves her, but he's willing to like sacrifice what he loves because he's so self-righteous and he's decided, I'm going to save the universe. So, and that's at that point in the film was when I had like a light bulb where I was like, oh, this is God. This is the story of the evangelical God.
And my surface level is like, you gave me a 2-3 minute flashback of baby Gamora, and that was supposed to convince me that he loved her so much that he could get Red Skull to give him the stone.
Yeah.
Hand over mouth fart noise.
Yeah. Well, she was surprised too. And they have talked about how their whole child, like her and Nebula, like had a whole childhood with him, like writing them to be better and whatever. So there's like some history. I
Abuse.
give you that.
Yeah, I get it.
So I think, I mean, I have some like just quick bullet points about why I think Thanos represents the biblical gospel well.
Because he's a bad guy. Next.
But there's,
so
the bullet points, I'm just going to read them because they're right there on my whiteboard in my
I'm not going to look because I don't want spoilers.
So there's bringing salvation by means of violence. So this isn't exactly like the Jesus personality is very like passive, docile, very docile. But the Revelation story, the end of times story, is that, you know, he's going to come bring all his people home, and anyone who isn't included in his people is going to be destroyed. And so there's this image of like the wrath of God, which is emphasized almost as much as the love of God in a lot of places.
It's because fear is a powerful motivator.
Yeah. But is that healthy?
No.
You know? So there's that unswayed by emotion, like I'm going to do this even though I have that single tear down my face, you know? And also the scene where there's Ebony Ma, the prophet figure, like going before him. And I wrote it down. He says to the people Thanos is about to destroy. Mm-hmm. Hear me and rejoice. You have had the privilege of being saved by the great Titan. You think this is suffering. No, it is salvation. The universal scales tip toward balance because of your sacrifice. Smile, for even in death, you have become children of Thanos.
Yeah, I remember that and being like, wow.
Yeah, that's like basically a Bible verse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So I thought that was like, I feel like it had to have been intentionally referencing evangelicals or prophets or whatever. And then just the other thing is that anyone who has any resistance or free thought is just, it's futile. It's like completely crushed. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, you have free will, but I'm going to kill you. So those are kind of the things where I was watching it and being like, yeah.
Negates the free will.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts. Okay. I don't know. So I think I watch movies more like that. I'm like, oh, how does this represent this other big idea?
Yeah, you've got lenses. Yeah. No, and that's, we talked about this, you're like, you think about the spiritual implications of things. And I'm like, I've never thought about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you look at it through that lens, and I look at things now through more of a social, like, awareness lens. Like, after college, I kind of was like, oh, that's one of the movies we're going to talk about later. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, we talked, like, last time with Sorry to Bother You. I was like, oh, this is a very deep statement movie. And the person I watched this was just like, oh, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very surface level for that. And I'm like, like, we're looking at it through different lenses.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so we have like a whole other episode of stuff to talk about, and we've been trying not to go too long on these. So I think we'll just wrap it up here and continue with part 2 next time. So I'm going to do what I've been watching this week, which I think we're calling goodish, mediocre-ish, baddish.
Yes.
And then we'll do yours on part 2. Does that work?
Yep.
Cool. So I haven't really been binging a lot lately. Apparently I got that under my belt last time. Although I did rewatch the last episode of Sabrina, because I think that the first time I watched it, I was a little bit drunk. But the big one, there's not a lot that I watch that I think is bad. Usually I do quite a bit of vetting before I put my time into something. So I like, if it has really bad reviews or I don't think I'm going to be interested, I just don't watch it.
Right. No, yeah, it is hard. That's why I listed a ton of good and mediocre stuff.
Yeah.
And one bad thing, because I didn't.
Yeah, totally. So most of what I've been watching lately has been just like weekly episodic stuff. So like I watch This Is Us every week, and I watch Grey's Anatomy every week, and I watch Doctor Who every week. And so I'm like big fans of all those shows, and I think they're actually all going in really interesting directions. And like people always are like, "What? You watch Grey's Anatomy?"
I legit was stuck on that one too.
Yeah. And I love Grey's Anatomy. And my thing about Grey's Anatomy is they've done this thing where they've figured out how to spin off within their own show. So like we're on, I think, season 15 right now. And every like 5 years or so, they just bring in like a new crew of characters, and it becomes a totally different show. And I love watching it. I don't know why. I've been watching it literally. We watched it in my freshman dorm in college, and I am 30 years old. And
yeah, no, I was like, I didn't realize it was still going on.
It's still going on, and I still really like it. Like, I want it to keep going.
Interesting. It's like a soap opera.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. And they keep bringing in really interesting characters who aren't, like this year they brought in some interns. One is a trans military man, and one's a, Muslim who wears a scarf. And they're just treated like, it's not like a thing. You know, like it'll come up once in a while, but it's not like, and now let me parade in our trans man, you know, which I hate in TV shows. So I just think that they've really nailed the diversity thing. Like Shonda Rhimes just in that one show. I don't actually love Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder, but I really love Grey's Anatomy. And This Is Us is just doing its thing all the time. It makes me feel emotions. There's not a whole lot to say about it, though. So the big kind of background bingey show I've been watching is ER.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in the second season, and it's like I'm having a hard time getting invested. A lot of the issues that come up, though, are really like intellectually interesting or like historically interesting, because it was back in, like, AIDS is a big issue, and like HMOs and pre-existing conditions.
Oh, those are all coming back.
You know? Yeah, right. So it's just a lot of the things that, like, say Grey's Anatomy doesn't need to talk about right now, or hasn't needed to in recent history. I'm like, oh yeah. You know, in my lifetime, I haven't really lived in a corner of the world where, like, AIDS is a big issue, you know? But it was a big issue. And I know it is for some people, but it's just not the crazy crisis that it was.
It's not the Reagan era anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, but the big thing I watched this week that was I have mixed, complicated feelings about is Fantastic Beasts and the Grimes. The Grimes
I'm
sure some
Grindelwald?
people are calling it that. The Crimes of Grindelwald. So I actually liked this one, like, in my heart. I liked it a lot more than the first Fantastic Beasts movie, mostly because there were a lot more things in it that, like, felt like Harry Potter. I know you don't care about Harry Potter, but I really, really do. So I can't tell you that it was a good movie, but I had a really good time. But not a good, like, where I do think Avengers Infinity War was a good movie, but I'm not sure that this one was. So that'll help you gauge, like.
Well, I can tell you I will not watch this movie.
If you don't have nostalgia for the world, I don't think that you would enjoy it at all. No.
Is Dobby in it?
No.
Then I don't want to watch it.
There is a house elf or two, though.
Dobby?
Nope.
And I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a whole lot of Johnny Depp, which isn't.
Isn't this movie supposed to be about some guy and Jude Law?
Yep, so Jude Law is Dumbledore.
Yeah, I know.
And in Harry Potter extended lore, he had, like, a relationship with this man when he was younger.
Yeah.
And then, so this is weirdly, like not that story, but
they're falling out. Or it's after they're falling out.
It's far after they're falling out. And so where it should have been kind of this emotional, because in the trailers it's Dumbledore saying, you know, I can't move against Grindelwald. You think it's because I love him, you know? And then I guess it could be read that way, but really the movie ends up telling you not so much. That, like, there's a magical reason why he can't move against Grindelwald. So that's kind of disappointing. And it very much kind of paints it like they're both over it. And now they just are enemies and there's no emotion involved at all anymore. And so, which isn't interesting. Like, it's interesting if
it's real
you
world.
love him.
It's real world.
Yeah. And there's, like, this weird twist at the end that was, like, confusing. Like, if I don't get your twist, if I don't understand what you're talking about, nobody understands what you're talking about.
To your own horn. Weird flex, but okay.
But when it comes to Harry Potter and, like, knowing all the backstory and knowing everything that's going on, I'm the one where people are like, "Hey, what just happened?" You know, and I can tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to, like, really, like, watch a bunch of videos and read a bunch of stuff and be like, what was that? How what? And it just was not. I mean.
Yeah.
So I had a really good time because it was more in the wizarding world where the first one wasn't really, and it was less fun to watch, but this one was fun to watch.
No. It's one of those things where if I felt like if I had any attachment to the universe, I would have enjoyed. Because I enjoy a lot of stuff that add to universes I enjoy. Like The Hobbit is one of my favorite. I legit have the Lonely Mountain tattooed on my leg.
Yep.
I enjoy The Hobbit. Did it need to be 3 movies? No.
You know, at the end of the first...
Did I watch all 3 in the theaters? Yes.
I didn't know it was 3 movies. So I got to the end of the first one and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, there's another one? And then I was like, oh, there's another one? Like, I was like, this is really excessive. Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't think there was enough for it to be in more than one movie, and there wasn't.
No, there's not. The other thing is, I think The Hobbit is one of my favorite books is because it was one of the first novels that I've finished. I read cover to cover
Oh, interesting.
because I can't read. So that's like a big deal, and that's why it's kind of close to my
Yeah,
heart.
no, totally. And I think we all have things like that. So I'm totally for it. I mean, I'll even watch the Hobbit movies if you really want me to. I've only seen the first one. Yeah.
They build on a lot of other, like, they take from other.
Because do they talk about this? Do they bring up Silmarillion stuff? I heard that they
yes
did.
and no.
Because I'm a big nerd. I read the Silmarillion.
I haven't read it, but I was cleaning my room before I came over, and I brought all my books. Mm-hmm. And by all my books, I mean like all of my books, which is a couple books and a shit ton of comic books. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, shit, I need a bookshelf. I actually need a bookshelf for these.
Yeah.
So that's my current conundrum. But one of them is the Silmarillion.
Okay.
They do talk about it now that I remember the parts. Yep.
The reason I think about this with people don't love like the new Star Wars movies or whatever. And I'm like, you don't understand. I grew up reading like extended universe Star Wars, and I loved all that. You know, I have some of them up on my bookshelf, like The Courtship of Princess Leia, and none of those were like good. I mean, a couple of them. But if you grew up reading like Timothy Zahn, Star Wars Extended Universe, you're gonna love Solo. You know, it's like the book, but you get to see it on a screen. Anything I can see with my eyes is amazing.
Right.
It's not so much about like, was this an amazing thing? And I feel like that's how I feel about like Fantastic Beasts. I'm like, it's the Harry Potter extended universe books that happen to be in my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's most of that. I rewatched the RBG documentary, which is just always all the feels.
I watched the SNL rap.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what's your favorite RBG decision? Oh, I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm like,
yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's all my stuff. Do you have anything else you want to add or any other thoughts you have?
I don't have any other thoughts.
Well, thank you for listening to the Long Shot Parking Lot. Do you want to do the outro?
Yeah. See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Long Shot Parking Lot. You can listen to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podbean, and you can follow us on Instagram at Longshot Parking Lot for all our new episodes and updates. If there are any topics you would like to discuss, you can email us at longshotparkinglot@gmail.com.